point. So for the peyote, you can get cards that can help you start. We might still have some on the website on www.JewelleryMaker.com. Check it out. But if not, hold it here, but you want to keep quite a bit of tension. So if you notice, I wrap the thread around that first finger, put my next finger on it, and I've sort of hooked it round and trapped it with my little finger. So that's quite secure. It's got quite a bit of tension, but it will slack off, and that's where your stopper bead comes in, because you can just push that back up. So we're going to add our first bead. We're missing out that first one on there, and we're going through our second bead. My finger automatically comes on there. Come down, there we go. To pull it down, now you want these to sit like that, so they're side by side. Okay, a bit like a T. So pull that down, loop your thread round again, pick your next bead. We're going to ignore the next one and then go through that next one. So you're going through every other bead and you're starting to get this castellation, this zigzaggy bit. Whoops. When you've got a long thread, how much thread to use to put in? Whatever is comfortable for you. I usually use 2 wingspans. So I'll basically hold my arms out and take the thread from one fingertip to the other fingertip, and that's how much I normally cut off. The reason for not doing that is for what you've just seen, is if you're going to bash into my bag, which is sitting here, and catch it. So it is a very personal thing. I prefer not to join in as much as I can to join thread. So I would rather have a bigger piece of thread as I can. So I'm going to hold that there, pull it down, do the next one in. Don't worry if it twists like that. You can just stick it back. As soon as you've got through the first row, everything will become clear. Now, this is where we have the difference between our even and our odd count. If it gets loose, just pull that back and you can see it all lines up. So there's our little castellation. You can see that. But on even, we would stop there. So our thread's coming out of the top. We now want to go through every gap. So we'd automatically turn round, go in there, 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 come out of that one, and you're automatically putting a bead on. So that's great. That works really good. But we've got an odd number. We can't do that. We can't automatically turn round. We need a bead sitting here. So we're going to put our next bead on, slide it down. So our next bead sits there, but we can't now go, we want to be going through that bead to do the next row. So this is our little shimmy sham. So we're going to go through the bead next to it, put them so that they're the same as the other side. So you've got that little bit of a T. Then you're going to go through the next bead and one on the next row. So we were going top row, second row, we're into the third row. We're going to pull that down. See how that's now tightening up? This is now sitting the same as the other one. Now we're going to cross, straight across, and come back through this third row bead next to it. Okay, you won't see the beads thread, which is definitely not playing the game today. There we go. So it's come out of there. We can now go through there. Now you don't want to go back through the bead that's at the start of the row. You need to go through the one adjacent to it. Okay, so we've come up through here. We can now come back down. So back down through here and we're down to the row. So you add on this bead, come round through to the next bead by it, go through the one in the next row, loop around those two, go through there, slingshot round to that one, and then back through to this one. So you're doing like a figure of 8, and then you come back through there, and you're now in the perfect place to start adding your next row. So I'm just going to get rid of this knot before I get into a mess. I've just got a little knot in the end of my thread. There you go. Just pull it off before it becomes an issue. and then we're going to go down. Now I have a habit of flipping, and if you notice, most of the time I bead towards me. A lot of people bead away from them. It's personal preference. Some people bead up, down, don't care. When I'm doing a flat count, even or odd, I tend to turn it so that I'm always beading towards me. Try whatever feels comfy for you is the right way for you. There's no right or wrong. It's what's comfy for you. So I'm going to now fill in all the gaps. So we're going to go through the gaps. There we go. And you can see it stabilizes straight away. Now I have quite a strong tension. I kind of pull it, and then as I pull, if you watch my little finger, I've got to the end and my little finger does that, and that's what pulls the tension to the last bit. And then I'll generally hook that around so that keeps the tension. Not tight, it's not taut, but then you go through and that's keeping it, and then I've automatically, my little finger's gone again. So now we've done 4 rows, because remember, when you put your beads on, the first row is actually row 1 and 2. So the first time you do that cancellation bit, that's actually row 3. So when you're counting things, that's how it happens. But your first row is always row 1 and 2. So if you lead a pattern, when you look at the first row of a pattern and the second row of a pattern in peyote, let me come down here, those 2 rows, you go that bead, that bead, that bead, that bead, that bead. That's how you put them on your needle. You do those 2 up and down rows, and then you're good to go. Right, so we said on even counting, you can just turn around that way. Just like this, you turn around, but on odd, you can't. The way you can tell is if you've got odd count, you've got 2 beads that end and 2 beads this end. If you had even, you'd have 2 beads that end and 1 this end. So that's how you can tell this is an odd count, apart from counting the numbers, obviously. This is an odd count peyote, so it means every time you get to this end, you're going to do that shimmy shammy. So we're going to do another row of ordinary. So again, we've just come round the top there, pull it down, and we've now got the 3. So that's working nicely. Okay, put that out your way. The reason I do that is two. One, for the tension, and B, it helps keep the thread out of the way. I know quite a few people find they get snags in the thread, which I do too occasionally, but by popping it there, you're basically running the thread, pulling it round your fingers so it doesn't snag when you get it in the beads. So it is a twofold thing, that, and also by putting your finger on it, which isn't very good for you seeing it, because I keep putting my thumb on it. That's what that does. Right, so we're now back to this end again. We've got 3 that side, we need our 3rd this time. So we're going to put our bead on the needle, then we're going to go through the one next to it. Okay, so we've got that there. We're going to go through the next one, which is between them. Can you see how you've got 5 beads there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Those are the beads you shimmy shammy round. You do a figure 8, so you come through there, round there, and back, and then through there. Okay, so you're not coming out through this one, you're coming out through that one. So it's just into that next row up. This is a very odd way to do it, but I'm trying to keep it there. So then you can go through those 2 beads there, coming back towards you. It doesn't matter if you do them singly or together. And then through the one that's next to the one you want to be going back on the next row. So we're going to go through that one, and then I'm going to turn it over and go back down. So you do this until you have slightly less, and I'll give you a good idea of how much less in just a second. Let me do this extra row. And then when you've got to the length you want, we'll do the decrease. It will probably take you maybe a couple of hours to do the length you want, maybe 3-4 hours, depending on how quick you are, to get to the length you want. Once you've got to the length you want, you've got that little bit there, you've got that little bit there. Let me have a look for my ruler, and I can give you a good indication. Hang on, here it is. It's always got it here in my bag. I carry everything in that bag. So this is in total 6.5, but I'd then have to add a clasp. So we want, basically it's about 1/2 inch each side. So if I want a 7-inch bracelet, I'm going to do, the length of that is about 5.5. Okay, so try it as you're doing it, try it on. You can always, once you've put that side on, if you put the clasp on it, it will give you a very good indication. It's obviously going to be dependent on what type of clasp it is. If it's just a little hook clasp, it doesn't matter. If it's a big toggle clasp or a magnetic clasp, you might want to leave more space. So how you adjust that, because we've just got this flat end here, when we come to do the decrease, we can either add on more, we could take a few rows off to adjust it, to then have that decrease and add the clasp. So it's always adjustable. So I'm going to show you now how to do your decrease. Okay, so we're going to pick up our first bead. Come on down, there we go. So you decrease every row, but you can decrease either at the start or the end. So if I started, depends which way, have I switched ends? No. Right, so I want to start decreasing when I've got a row with a sticky out bit, that's why it looked odd, on both ends. See how this one sticking out further than that one? The same that side. You want to have the bead sticking out, so I'm going to do another row so that they both got sticky out. It'll become clear when I do it. Don't hook around the bead mat. Okay, we're going to add these next few beads. It grows in the 8/0s, it grows really quite quickly. So we need to do our shimmy shammy this side to get in our correct place. If it flips like that, just move it back into place. Say, no, you're going round the corner, mate. Behave yourself. Go through that way, then back. If you want, if they're all aligned, you can go straight through all 3 of those together. Pull it down. Right, so now we're here, now we can decrease. So we're automatically, by going there, that's 1 less than there. So it automatically gives me a decrease. And then when we get to the other side, we've got to go through this one, but how we deal with it, because that is 1 less than that. So let's get to that side. So this is an automatic decrease. 1, 2. Because when you're doing odd and count peyote, each row will have slightly different number of beads. 3, 4. So that row has 4, the other row has 5. Right, so I said there's 2 ways of doing this. There's a very quick, easy way, and there's a slightly longer way. Push comes to shove, my needle needs to be going through there. I don't want a bead by here. So if I want, I can do a little shimmy round here, come back through here, stop there, and then go through there. So I'm just, and don't panic about, oh, I'm not sure I follow which way you do it. All you've got to remember is whichever way you go through here, you can go all the way over here if you want. You need to end up with your needle coming through there. So that's the important bit. It doesn't matter what pattern you use, okay? That's the harder way. The easy way, and I'll show you on that bracelet, I've got one of each, is to literally do that and accept that across there you've got a thread bridge. Okay, if someone's got that close, if you imagine that's on your wrist and has got down there to be able to see where that thread bridge is, it's no different than having that thread showing on the side there, and it makes it a lot easier. So on one of these sides I've done the invisible way, shall we say, so you can see there's no thread across there at all. And on the other side, if you look very closely, you'll see little thread bridges. I mean, it's hard to see even on, so we'll try it on camera. That's how hard it is with, can you just about make that out? Yeah, so to my mind, given the amount of time it saves and hassle, just by feeding it through there, going straight across through there and accepting you're going to have that thread bridge there, makes no difference. So we'll carry on decreasing. We're going to come back down through. Some people really don't like doing the odd count, because the easy way is to just turn it round and do it even. But if you want to do a point, then you've really got to go odd point. So again, we're just going to flip that, come out of that one, just go back through that one and accept that there's a little thread bridge gone over there. It really doesn't matter. Now, when I do go to a point, if I'm doing a bracelet, I don't actually want a point because, and again, we're going to have that thread bridge there. Here we go. How do I attach something to it? So what I found, as you saw in that bracelet, we get to there. So your next row would actually be one bead in there. However, if you put whether you want a beaded little loop or not, you can put a beaded loop there. If you want, you can sew backwards and forwards over there and capture a jump ring, but again, that's got the risk of it pulling through. So you need about 1 centimetre of French wire, and if you come through there, you can do it with less. I just actually like having a loop. Pop that French wire on. Then I'm going to go straight across to the other side. Now, as you pull it, you want that to bend rather than crease. So I'm just going to encourage that to start bending. Pull it down and it pulls it into shape and gives you what's really a really nice tidy end. That will take your metal, it won't affect your thread. I've only gone through it once, but I'm not bothered because it's completely protected by the wire. The jump ring can't pull out of it because it's too thick. So it's actually a really good method of connecting it. And it was actually a viewer who put me on to using French wire. So thank you very much. It was a while ago now, and I'm really sorry I can't remember your name. But yeah, so it was a viewer who gave me that, and I think that's a much better way of doing it. So once you've secured that, to finish your thread, or if partway through the bracelet you need to change your thread, all you need to do is go change direction 3 times. If you change direction 3 times, you won't see the thread. When you put it across directly, it slips between the beads and it disappears. You don't see it. So when it goes there, you don't see it. If it went over the bead or goes up there, you see it a little bit. When it goes there, you don't see it at all. So if you go loop-de-loop round once, you don't want to go round and round one. So I then usually go diagonally, which is the normal way you do it. You'd have your thread and then do loop-de-loop round another one. And that thread is not pulling out for anybody. You can now trim that. If you're doing this to add in new thread, I would leave the tail so that I know which side I'm starting on. Especially if you get a phone call in between times, then you've sort of gone, I've done there, trimmed it off, get your phone call and you're like, oh, which side was I on? So if you leave the thread, I mean, we were at the middle, so if you leave the thread near the top and then you can start down here, feed it through and off you go again. So it just gives you that option as to how to do it. So then you'd come down to the other side, say, how long is it? Have I got a long enough bracelet now? Yes, no, and add your other side on. So that's how you make your bracelet. They're a great bracelet for adding anything on top of, or just having them as a bracelet is lovely, but as a carrier, they're fabulous. I mean, it's such a rich looking bracelet. It's fabulous for using a lot of stuff on. So let me just put those out of the way. I was very generous with the amount of beads I let out. So now we're going to add on the flowers. Is there a rhyme or reason to the way? Not really. You want them packed enough that they're not floppy, that they're going to hold, but you don't want them crammed so much that they're like and really struggling. So I did them so that if I'm just going to borrow this bracelet for a minute. So basically I did them so they were tight enough that it's not, if you look at that, it's still quite concave and that way. So they're quite packed on, but when you have it round your wrist, they've got more freedom. So if you try and do it flat, you're packing it in. If you did them loose enough so they'd all line up flat, as soon as you did that, you'd end up with sort of more of that effect. You'd have gaps, which is not wrong. It's fine, but it just depends on what you want. So I'm going to pop that to the side for a minute. And then I'm going to start doing this now. So, like we said before, I tend to start in the middle and work my way each way. So I started in the middle of this and then went, right, well, I'll do that many, because I didn't want it all the way round. I didn't want to have it underneath my wrist. You want to have that, because if you're trying to sort of lean on that, it's not going to be very comfortable. So start in the middle, work your way one way, and then work your way the other way. If you want to try and split the flowers, I kind of gave up on this, and I quite like the randomness of the floral, so I had to try and do them random. This is what I've got left from doing the bracelet and earrings. Oh no, I've still got, sorry, I have still got more left. But you can see I've picked out more of the, you get more of one colour than another colour, etc, etc. But I'll show you how to attach these. So I'm going to start in the middle. So we're attaching thread, as I said, got my tail there, got about 1 inch tail, you don't need much more. Put it under my thumb, hold on to it, then I'm going to go through that one. So at the moment, if I pulled, don't get it caught, if I pulled this, it would just pull straight out. I'm going to go back up through there. So there's 2 changes of direction. That's now a little bit secure, but it's not fully secure. So I'm going to go to the next row and do another loop-de-loop. Now, if you watch this thread here, I can pull and that's not going to move. So I'm quite happy. That's now secure. I can trim off that tail out the way. Okay, so that bit's done. These lucite flowers, they're so easy to use. They're beautiful to use. I mean, you could use them as chandeliers, you could cascade them, you can use them in netted pieces. They're beautiful to use. For this, it's so easy. I'm going to go from behind through the flower. Then I'm going to pick up a bead. So I've got in the middle of each of these flowers, you can see that seed bead sitting there. So I'm going to pick up a seed bead, pop it down through there. Then I'm going to go back through the flower, but not the seed bead. So let me pull this. If I pull the seed bead out of the way, I'm just going back through that flower. And then when I pull that down, that's then sitting nice and pretty. You could leave it. I mean, I did originally think I would do 1 in the middle and then 6 around, and then I got carried away. I loved it so much, I just kept going. So you've got 1. Now you're going to want to go through another couple of seed beads. So you don't want to do, if I did 1 there, it's going to sit like that. So like I said, if I was just doing a flower with a ring around, I could do that. But because I wanted to do more, I'm going to have to go further away from that first one. And I think you need to be a couple of beads, either rows or columns, away. So let me go through the next one. So if I wanted to go all the way over here, I'd just feed backwards and forwards rather than leaving the thread, because then it stays, it's invisible from behind. I like having my pieces tidy from the back as well as the front if I can. So I'm going to pick up another one, feed it down, pop it through. We're going through there, pull it into place. So you can see they start sitting beautifully together. But do you see what I mean about the gapping? So we're going to have to pack these. So I've come out of there, I'm going to come round this way. There's no rhyme, there's no pattern, there's no reason. If you think there's a bit of a gap appearing and you don't want that gap, take your thread to where you're going. Just fetch your thread through, pick up another one, feed it down, and there you go. You keep going, and you can do this as much or as little as you can. To add more thread in, we've shown you how to do that just before. So you just keep adding, and what you'll find is they'll move, they'll shuffle as you do it. So add as many as you want in, work your way down one way, work your way back the other way. Take your needle to the back to add on more thread, do your 3 changes of direction, and then you're good to go. So that is your bracelet. So I'm going to pop the bracelet to one side, and then we're going to do the earring. So you'll have to give me a couple of seconds while I change the seed beads. So these earrings, I really quite liked the thought of having them as a almost as a climber going up. Oh, bird of paradise, Ollie. Yeah, I quite like that. Yeah. The colours of the colours look fantastic. You get a texture. It's very 3D. It's just a fantastic way of introducing a new stitch. So we're going to be doing twisted herringbone. So this is completely different to what you've done before. So pause and come back to it till you finish your bracelet. You know, don't get yourselves confused. But it's a great technique. Now, normally, twisted herringbone. So twisting herringbone is very traditionally done with three different colours. And I was going to try and do a pair of earrings, but we ran out of time. So I thought, well, no, I'm going to do some of the twisted herringbone. But for this one, if you do it with 3, it will work with the 8 O's. It will work for a rope, but it's quite squidgy. So you'd need to put something like paracord through the middle. Or something to the middle just to help hold that in position. So you could actually do twisted herringbone around your paracord and it will hold its shape. But I didn't want to put paracord through these earrings because they're too small, really. So I've taken it down to 4, which is quite unusual for twisted herringbone. So we're going to start with doing a bit of ladder stitch. So we're going to have 2 green and 2 pink. So this is the start. We're doing a 2 by 2. Then we're going to put a knot in there. Some people go round it again. I'm a one for knotting it. So for ladder stitch, we want to then come back up through there. Those who are watching on the 3rd, this is the same way as you start the brick stitch ones. So we come out of the top of the pink. We're now going to go from the bottom to the top of the pink again with the 2 greens on. So you pull those into place and they nestle into place. Go back down through the greens. So you can do this for as long as you want. You can make a big long line of this. Once you come out of the bottom of the green, you're going to pick up 2 pinks. I think I call ladder stitch. It's a bit loop-de-loop. So you go round there, come out of there, you go loop-de-loop round there, you come up through there, you do a loop-de-loop round there. So you're kind of doing a circle on each way. One goes top to bottom and one goes bottom to top. So we're coming out through the top of that pink. Right, so there's the start. Well, this isn't very much for a tube. So we're going to bring those 2 together. And we're going to do a loop-de-loop. We're going to go down through that first green and then back up through that pink. Okay, so there's the start of our tube. It's a bit square, but it doesn't matter. We're going to spiral it anyway. So we're going to start our herringbone. Now, herringbone, you do 2 beads at a time. You can do double herringbone, but we'll not get into this. This is single herringbone. So we're going to go up 1 and down there. So to keep the colours for the spiral, we're going to go up a pink, down a green. So we're going to have a pink and a green on our needle. So a pink and then a green. And then we're going to go down for this first one. We're going to go down through the 2. So this is still about stabilisation at this stage. Now, if you look, they don't sit square. So they're actually sitting. I'll try and show you in that way. They're actually starting to angle. I don't know whether you can see that through. You can just about see that. So it will become. They don't lie on top of each other. So we're going to go up through the next one, which is pink. If you wanted to, you could just do one pink spiraling through all the green. And then we're going to put a pink and a green on and come back through, whoops, pink and green. Okay, and then come back down through those two greens. So we've now got 3 in each column. Okay, we're now going to go back up through the pink and we're going to start twisting it. There's loads of different ways you can twist. So you can twist, cause it to twist clockwise or anti-clockwise. You can do quite a sharp twist, which we're going to do quite a sharp twist. You can do a shallow. By that I mean the coils go quite close together, or you can do a very low, very slow one. So we've come out of there. We're going to put our next 2 on. Always now we're going to be putting a pink and a green all the way through. So we're going to go down through 1 green. So to make this quite a steep spiral, we've come out of that one, we're going to come down 3. So we want to be going up through the next colour of 3 of them. So we're going to go up through those 3 pinks. And what happens is that we'll pull that this way around. So, and you'll see it's starting to open. It wants to go that way because that wants to come down to there. Okay, so we now put our pink and our green on. So we go into the top green, and you'll notice you have a bit of a split. That's absolutely proper. Then we want to go 1, 2, 3 down, up through those 3. So we're not going through the bottom one, we're just going through the next 3 and twist. You can see you're starting to get a slight twist, and because it's only 2, it's very quick to show you that twist. So pink and green, down through 1 green and pull. You can really, because it's quite a severe twist, you can really see that starting to turn over. So these up through the 3, so that's a complete circuit. So these are, you're always going to get this gap between the 2. If it was 3, you'd kind of had three separate things which you can open like petals. Because you're putting this bridge down here, but that one had a bridge there, that one have a bridge there, that one will be connected here. So they do connect, but they just lag a bit because you're doing the twisted. If you were doing straight, then it would be closer than that. So we're going to do a few more of these. So you want the 2 colours and then through. It's a very therapeutic. You can do again, it's a rope that can go quite quickly, especially if you do just the 2. You can do a fabulous rope necklace like this, and I don't think I've done a necklace on screen for the 2 before, but it's a lovely way to do it. And you'll once we've gone a little bit further, you'll see you can already see that that's starting to spiral. So and it's also because down here now it has all got bridges over, they're all connected. It's actually firmer to hold, and it's quite nice to hold, shall we say. So we're going to go back up there. So we want to do a decent length of this. Come on, up you come. There we go. Okay. Give that a bit of a pull. So I'm just going to carry on doing this. Pattern wise, if you wanted to do, you could do all this all green. That would work, and just have the colour of the flowers on top. That would look quite nice. You could do it, like I say, you could have 1 pink and then the other 3 green, and keep going. So there are different ways you can do this. If they don't fall right, so those 2 are actually sitting parallel, you want them to fall apart at the top. So that pink's not sitting right, just pull it up a bit. Thank you very much. They now fall over and open up. So it's keep an eye on as you go through. What you'll find is you won't be able to automatically go through that one if it hasn't, let's call it opened properly. So what you'd do in that case is you'd go, if that one was kind of a bit like that, so it's flat, is you come up through your needle and you need to sort of just manipulate it to go on the needle, and then it pulls it into position. You can ombre this if you want, so you can change the colours going up, you can change the colours going around. Like I say, you could do it self-coloured. I would suggest when you first start, the 2 colours give you a very quick visualisation, and it's very easy to see what you're doing, where it is and where you're going. So do try it with them. So you can see there we've nearly gone all the way round with our spiral. So we're going to carry on going through. 1, 2. I'll do a little bit more of this, and then what we'll do, so these will be shorter, but it's only to show you, to demo it. There we go. We'll do another couple of rows, and then we'll have enough to attach to. So we're going to pull that through there. And because there's only 2, you're not stepping up, so normally you'd have a step up, but this is just a continuous spiral, and it works really well. It's so quick, like I say, to grow. Come here, if you can get your needles, your beads to go on the needle. So we're going to stop there. Right, so we've got our little spiral. It's only a centimetre, centimetre and a half. It doesn't matter compared to the others. We're then going to take them. I don't like this for the purpose of the earrings. If you have 3, like I said, you could open it up and pop one of the lucite's in the centre if you wanted. That would work beautifully. But because there's only 2, it looks a bit odd. So I want to fasten these together. So instead of coming down the 3, I'm just going to go through the 2. So I'm going to go around through the 2, filling in those bridges. I'm going to come down to there. All you're doing is forming that connection where they didn't have one. So I'm going round all the top 2. I missed the top one. Go in there. So now they've come in a lot closer. And then I'm going to go around again in just the top 1. And that is now completely sealed off the end of that rope. That's now secured. So we're going to pop our lucite on the end. So we're going to have this beautiful bright blue one. Go through it as before. Now this time I did go and get some gold, because I think I really like the gold against the colours. So I'm going to carry on with that. You could use a green, you could you could do a blue for the blue one, a pink for a pink one, a green for a green one if you wanted. But I really quite like that flash of gold. So as before, pop your bead, go through the bottom of it, pop your gold on, feed back through and pull it tight. Now you've come out of one side, so that would be lopsided, so go through the diagonal bead, and then I mean, they're quite cute in them of themselves. They really are quite cute. So when you've done that, I'm now going to start going up, and I decided to literally just go up one line. You could go up the 2, it would fit, you'd just have a complete column of flower. But I liked the idea of having the flower almost vining up, trailing up, whatever you want to call it. You could do this, you could do this on the spine of a dragon. That would look amazing. You could have a floral dragon. Come on, unspin yourself, thank you. So I'm going to go back through there, pull it through. Now, so I've missed the first one, I've come out of the first one, but from now on I'm going through every other, which just gives you enough. Oh, see that? I've got my thread there caught. Make sure it doesn't catch on a petal. Pull it down, because you will see it. Nobody else might, but I would see it on mine. So I'm going to go back through the same one and through the next one to it. So I'm going through 2 at a time, pulling that through. And like I say, you could ombre them. If you started, however you started, you can ombre them, slide it down through the flower, come out of that one, go through the next two. So it works all the way along. Make sure you don't catch your flower and pull it. So it's not massively tight on here. They'll sag next to each other. They're not ramrod straight, and they've just got a little bit of loose, but they fill in the spiral. This would also work beautifully on if you've got what's it called, you know, like a fairy for the top of the tree or something like that. You could do this there and have these running as lines going up the fairy's skirt. They'd look beautiful like that. You can decorate them like that. We're going to pull through that one, and then we're going to go up through the next one. Okay, pulling it through. So you'd carry on all the way up. I'll do two more on this one. I mean, you can by all means make these smaller. Tell you what else you can do with them is have lots of them. They're gonna be a bit like a wisteria plant. If you did a lot of these as a necklace and had them all hanging down, and I'll get the earrings over in a minute and have a look at that. I think you could get sort of that wisteria effect. Pull through that one, back up through there. So we're virtually at the top now, and I'm at an odd number, so I'll not add an extra one in. That's my tail from the top. Okay. So once you've gone round, you can see that spirals round. If I'm going to just grab one of the earrings. Whoops. Dropsy. So you can see, because you're doing it every other, if you wanted them to be more, you could double it up, and you'd actually get more of that sort of effect with the flowers going up if you put them on every single space rather than every other. It would pack them in a lot closer. So you could do that if you wanted them more like that. You would still see this line running through it, the spiral running through it, which I think is quite nice. The other thing you could do is actually go up the other pink one as well, and that would add extra. So you could actually do one colour going up one, take all the sort of pinks and red tones going up one, and the sort of more bluey and green tones going up the other, and that would look sensational. Now for this one, because I didn't have any while I was doing it, I've done this thread bridge, this bead bridge. But as you can see, my shepherd hook is directly onto that thread. So I am going to practice what I preached. I'm going to put one more on the top here, and I'm going to actually use another little bit of French wire, because I think it's a much more secure way of attaching. So let's pop that through there, and then we're going to go up through that last one. Come on, don't get caught. All right. Now, because I'm back to where I started, I've got my tail. I can actually knot these together, because you're not going to see them, and that will firm that whole thing up. So those are now firm, but there's still going to be movement in the flowers. They're not ever going to not move, so that's a bit more firm. We'll be able to thread that one through somewhere. Come here, there we go, to finish. And then I want a loop, so I'm going to get another bit of my French wire. Where did I put my needle? There he is. Feed that on. And again, I want it to curve down. So I've come out of a pink one, tied a knot. I'm going to go down through that green. If you want that to curve rather than to bend, get a pair of round nose pliers. This goes for wherever you're using French wire. If you want that curve, if you get your round nose pliers, come here, pop your pliers in there and just bend it around. So what happens is you get a much more even rather than a sharp bend. You can pull that down, and that now fixes, so you can put your shepherd hook through there. So we're going to go loop-de-loop around here again. I've come down the bottom, I'm going to go back up, And again, because of that French wire, I'm not worried. Come on. There we go. Now I pulled it tight, it was very tight. So I'm going to pull that back up. If this was a thread, if this was a seed bead one, I would go around that a couple of times. But because I've got the French wire around it, I'm quite happy that that's secure. The rest of the piece has only got one single thread through it, so it's as much likely to break anywhere else as there. So I can double knot that. Then take your needle. I never cut directly on a knot. I'm going to feed that down. The reason being, hang on, let me just feed that needle through there. The reason I don't cut on a knot is, if you've got a knot, let me see if I've got any of the cord I had earlier. Just bear with a minute. I'm sure I've got some in here. Ah! No. Right, so there we go. That'll do. If you tie a knot, that's got a nice knot there. If you cut it directly, really close up to that, the chances are these will unravel. If you leave a little bit on, they'd have to pull all these through to unravel, and it's not likely to. So if you cut it directly, there's only the bit in the knot that's got to slip out, and then you've lost your knot. So that's why I will always feed through. So if you can imagine you've got some beads on there, because I don't want the thread hanging out, so I'd go through at least one bead, and then I've got that much tail distance from my knot, and your knot is that much more secure because you haven't cut it too close. So we can now snip off here, and the same with this one. Oh, this is something you should never ever do on live TV. Thread a needle. Invariably, I can do it first time at home. There you go. Second time, that's not bad. And again, feed through a couple of times, pull it down. I don't have to worry about going backwards and forwards because I've already knotted it, so I know it's secure. So I can now trim off the end, know that's completely secure, add my shepherd hook to my loop, and that's a little version of your earring as against a big one. Like I say, if you've got something with a skirt on it, if you've got a fairy you've made or anything like that, you could use these to sort of cascade down, and they're going to look sensational. So have fun making your earrings, have fun making your bracelet. Don't forget, send in what you make to the Wall of Fame. I've noticed quite a few of our makes coming through. When I was on the 3rd, someone had sent something they'd made from Claire's show on the 1st. So we do look at them, and we do really appreciate it. Send your makes through to studio@JewelleryMaker.com. If you want to buy any of the seed beads or anything like that, needles and thread, have a look on our website, which is www.JewelleryMaker.com. JewelleryMaker.com. Remember to have a really happy Christmas.
Never miss a show by watching on the go with the Jewellery Maker app. Head over to your app store now and search Jewellery Maker and simply download to your smartphone or tablet. You can watch the shows live and see your favourite presenters and guests. Click on the Today button to shop all of the products that are featured on today's show. Want to know what's hot? Then click here to see today's bestsellers and highlights. Have you missed a show or want to watch one back? Then click on the schedule button and you can go back 7 days to watch and shop, and you can also see what's coming up. Yeah, the Spinel's going to work with it so well.
Yeah.
Spinel, by the way, coming up in about half an hour's time. It's your deal of the day. It's absolutely amazing. Go, go, go. $14.99. Well done, everyone. Loads in baskets. Check out as soon as you can, everyone. Well done.
See, because I used the two, and because I'd used one on the silver, I just popped a pearl on the end of that one.
Yeah.
And it looks stunning.
Yeah, it
That's
really
brilliant.
does. It's lovely, Alison. 20 odd seconds. Let's get those details moved on. Mix and match these kits.
Oh, definitely.
Add in the Spinel. Add in your pearls. Add in, as Alison has done, little kind of really well chosen little items there. Just added in there. Whether it's a coin pearl, whether it's a pearl on the bracelet over there, on the blue bracelets. It's entirely up to you, whatever you want to add on there. This one here is so lovely, with the pearl on the bottom there. It just looks so high end, but so simple.
Yeah.
Nothing overly complicated. This has been the most popular on pre-order.
has it?
It's so sweet. Beautiful pink sparkly cord with the most gorgeous golden fleck going through it. I love this. Oh, I haven't got the heart.
Yeah, it's a little heart and a little butterfly, wasn't it?
How funny. So you've
Yeah.
got a sterling silver heart and a sterling silver butterfly and two of these sterling silver charm carriers. Really, really love. I'm just looking at the detail on these.
Yeah.
Gosh, they're really detailed. They've got that lovely kind of almost like a
Like
Celtic,
solid, yeah.
a Celtic kind of flower going through there. Two of those, and you got the butterfly, which I'll pick up actually. I don't seem to have the heart for some reason. A heart and a beautiful butterfly. Look at that. Isn't that gorgeous? Gorgeous. Look at these butterfly charms elsewhere.
You see
£41.72. Gorgeous quality, isn't it? £41.72. Then actually, they're not too big if you wanted to put them on a ring, actually. I think they'd work on a little ring.
Could.
Don't you think?
They'd make a great little
Sometimes
ring.
charms are too big, but I think that would be perfect, actually, just on a ring like that. That would just be gorgeous. Gosh, this is absolutely flown out already. 15 seconds, we're going to be giving you your price point. Here we go, my lovelies. You're going straight down on this one, Miri? Yeah. That's gorgeous. Yeah, earrings. Yeah, it is wholesale on precious metal. You're absolutely right, Ollie. Yeah, it is. It is just incredible. For genuine sterling silver components. That's just gorgeous. Here we go. $14.99. Well done. Yeah, with heart earrings, butterfly earrings. Get 3 of this kit. You've got yourself a whole suite of jewellery. How lovely.
Mix this with the 2 butterfly necklaces from earlier.
Yes. Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Perfect. Well done, everyone. Go, 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 go. Right, demo-wise, here we go, my lovely.
Right. So these kits are perfect. They're perfect for, if you've lost your mojo, they're great. If you run out of time, if you just want to decompress after the madness of the pre-Christmas runner,
absolutely,
and you just want to go, I don't think my brain can cope with thinking about anything. Yeah. These are perfect for it, and they make beautiful jewellery. Yeah. So obviously I've layered them up. You'll get 3 cords through 2 of the kits, not the blue one. You only get a single through the blue one. But they're great. Layer them up. So all I've done is I've got 3 lengths to whatever size you want for your bracelet. Trim off with the scissors, or I'm going to use my snips. Right, I've used a little. Now, there's loads of ways you can bind the end of here, but I've used a little bit of 0.4 wire or 0.25 wire. Yeah. And literally, I've bound it tight, pulled it in tight. Okay. And that's just pulled that in. Then I'm going to trim off. Well, I'm going to trim off the top. You'll see why I don't trim off the bottom in a minute. So you're going to do that to both ends. Okay. Let's just whiz that round. It doesn't have to be that neat. You're not going to see it. It's purely to hold the cord together and to compress it to allow it to go. Because if you look, it's a lot thinner there than it is here. Yeah. You wouldn't think that would go through. So I've got a baling, pliers. You don't have to have a baling whoops, you can just have an ordinary baling pliers. And I've got some 0.8 wire. Okay, so I'm just going to snip off that end bit. Now, these have used different ones. The black compressed smaller than the pink did.
Oh, how funny.
Yeah, weird. Because it's the same size cord. So with your, if you've got a stepper pliers or the 2 separate ones, it doesn't have to be the pliers, then have a look which one you do it to. So I would say it's a lot narrower than that, so that's going to be quite chunky. I'm going to try that one. Okay, I'm pretty sure that's the one I did it with. Now, and again, you can decide how long. So I'm just coiling it round. Start with, when you coil it, start coiling, but then work towards the bottom, because what happens is it just pushes it that way. If you do it the other way round, what will happen is you get to here and you'll be stuck. So just coil it around. You can have as long or as short a coil as you want. Then when you've got your coil, do your 2 coils, snip that off, snippety snip.
Lovely.
Cute. Right, then you want a flat pliers, and you see the top one, you want to go halfway round. So see where that the end is? I want to go halfway round there, and then I'm just going to bend it. So I'm only holding this half, I'm not holding all the way along, and I'm just going to tip that up. I need to just curl that underneath. Whoops, let me... If you didn't quite curl the end in enough, just tip it up and curl it in. There you go. So you get your little connector. So those are your little end caps. Now, what I find to make it easier, because this is going to be quite tight, at the other end, just kick that bottom bit up a little bit. You're just going to tip it out a little bit. Now that, you'd normally say, oh, hang on a minute, that's going to catch, but we're going to put it back. And then we're going to curl that down. Oops, come here. Right, I'll do it on this side because this one's compressed tighter. So I'm just going to twist it. Now I'm kind of screwing it on rather than pushing it. And you'll see when it gets to the top, you've gone on far enough, so you can actually undo the 0.4 up to the point it meets that 0.8.
Chantal says, morning, I've been busy collecting donations for a dog shelter over the past few months. We're delivering on Thursday.
Oh, well done, Chantal.
You lovely, lovely, lovely lady.
We're fostering again, and our little foster went to his new forever home on Saturday.
Did he? Oh,
yeah.
That wasn't long, was it? I think we knew it was
I didn't
going
think
to
he'd be long. He was a little sweetie. Right, so you've know the bit we kicked out before. We just want to catch that. Don't get the whole thing. You just want to catch that, and then with your other side of the ply, you're bracing it against the rest. And what you're going to do is press that, and you're going to be a bit careful because you only want that end to go in.
Yeah.
And you're going to pull that end in, and then that is attached. You don't need any glue, you don't need anything of that.
Such a lovely finish.
That's now attached. So you do that to both ends and just attach whatever clasp you want.
That's a
Don't
gorgeous
forget
secure finish.
to put your bail on before you put your end cap on. Depending on the bail.
Oh, yes, of course.
But don't put your end cap on until you've made sure that your bail will fit on. And you can plait these, you can intertwine them if you want, you can leave them as they are. And that's your little bracelet.
Oh, Alison. Thank you.
That's all right.
Gorgeous.
Start making.
So simple, so easy. And yeah, just start making. Enjoy. Right.
Oh.
Spacer bead bundle. Oh, this is going to fly. Star by. What's going on? There's a bin under here. Anyways, right.
That's okay.
Okay, start by. These spacer beads are...
They're stunning.
They're going to fly. That's what they're going to do. Oh, yeah. Now, I'm looking at these, and they're not as kind of polished, shiny as some of the other ones we've done. These have got much more of a satiny finish on them.
Yeah, it's like a brushed.
Yes, it is.
It's a gentle brush, isn't it? Beautiful.
Do you know what that's going to work with beautifully?
Black spinel!
Black spinel! Black spinel! Black spinel! So look at that sparkle next to that brushed finish. Doesn't that is going to work so well. I love the thought of putting all those together. We're going to give you a clock to graphics. Now, as soon as the graphics are live, these are going to fly. Alison, I think we could change our name to the Spacer Bead channel sometimes.
Oh, please.
I think if there's one... there's certain things that we could literally sell again and again and again and again and again. It's things like this. It's sterling silver components which are really useful, which are really well made, which are really, timeless. They are effortless to use. They're just absolutely perfect. And you're going to be getting a pack of them today. You can multi-buy. Speak to the call centre team. Multi-buy. Now these, you're getting, 3mm sterling silver spacer beads with this really gorgeous brushed finish on here. Absolutely gorgeous. With that really beautiful brushed finish. You're getting...
I love it.
50. Okay. Now I know 50 sounds like a lot. Okay. Believe you and I, 50 is going to go in a heartbeat. 50 is just going to disappear. I would absolutely say to you today, multi buy. Don't buy 2 packs of these. Buy like 8 packs of these. Because if you want to make, because they are spacers, and you can use them as little you can use them as little punctuation marks. You can use them as little kind of odds and ends, little spacers, or you can do an entire piece of jewellery just using these. You're going to make about a 15 centimetre length using just these. So if you wanted to make an entire necklace, you're going to need a few packs of these. If you want to make an entire bracelet, you're going to need a few packs of these. In my honest opinion, I would be mixing these with any rose gold or yellow gold plated sterling silver ones that we've got. Alison's just literally getting a couple of designs out just to show you how you can use them. Here's some Stardust ones using it with jade there. Absolutely perfect. There you go. Using using your spacers in a gorgeous ring like that, absolutely gorgeous. Using them in Alison, this is amazing. Thank you so much. Using them in earrings like this, just to create that lovely kind of look. Yeah, absolutely beautiful. Okay, so they can be the main feature, and these are sterling silver. So you just make a stretchy ring out of these. How much are you going to be charging for that? Just the sterling silver spacer bead stretchy. 15, 20 pounds maybe even more, depending on where you're selling.
And those are only, I think those are only 2mm. These are 3mm, aren't they?
3mm.
Wow.
That size is perfect for hiding knots. It's perfect for necklaces, bracelets, earrings, seed beading, kind of for bezeling around your gemstones, your cabochons, for making into stretchy rings. We're at $19.99 for these today, which is absolutely fantastic. Yeah, we're nowhere near done. We've got to see you there. These are brand new. Conway's already taken 2. Cheshire's got 2 loads. Sandria's got 4 loads. Margaret's got 2 loads. Geraldine's got 2 loads. Well done to you. Absolutely fantastic. Are we done? No way near. We need to see you there. Now, have a look at them with the black spinel.
Oh, no. Well, I want to make a little stretchy with the black spinel with a bigger ring, but they'll go perfect with those.
Won't they just?
That's going to be amazing.
Won't they just? Make your own rosary link station style necklace using those spacer beads, or pop them as spacers in between your black spinel. 15 seconds. We are honestly going to give you the most amazing closeout deal. Don't forget what it is until the 17th. It's Santa's Christmas closeout deals. It's absolutely crazy. How many of these do we commission, Neri? How many packs? 250 packs of these. Oh, Teresa's got 5 packs of these. Are you ready? Are you steady? Let's go all the way down. Here we go. $14.99. It's for 50. We're still not done. Still not done.
Tom, can you do me some maths, please? Can you convert 7 inches into how many 3mm bleeds? Beads. Let's not have bleeds.
So you make about 15 centimetres out of all these together.
Right. And how long?
How long's a piece of fish?
How long's your standard bracelet? Because I can't do it in centimetres.
Centimetres wise, inch wise, it's 6 inches. 15 centimetres is 6 inches.
Oh, okay.
So that's a 6-inch bracelet you could make with this pack here. So with 2 packs, you'll make yourself easily a bracelet and a pair of earrings.
Wow.
3 packs, you'll make yourself a necklace.
Wow.
See? This is it. This is how achievable it is today. Are you ready?
Crazy.
Here we go. We're going down. Of course, we're taking the price down. $12.99 for 50. And of course, they've got that beautiful brush finish. They've got that really different coloured luster. So you put these next to beads which are bright, shiny, like these ones here. Absolutely gorgeous. So same metal, just a different finish. They're going to look amazing.
Yeah.
Put them next to the Stardust. Again, they are different again. You know, they're absolutely